What's up, guys? What's up? What is going on? I have a very, very special guest today. His name is Don Saladino, the owner of Drive 495, Drive Health Clubs now. A couple clubs we got going on, right, Donny?
Yeah, big story on that. I'll fill it in.
Superhero trainer, celebrity trainer, dog trainer. It sounds like he'll be training dogs today while we're interviewing. Celebrity trainer, Scarlett Johansson, Sebastian Stan, Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, David Harbour, a.k.a. Hellboy, just to name a few. Kind of like a big deal, right? You've been in a ridiculous amount of fitness publications, too many for me to even name right now. Maybe you could fill us in on a few of them. Your head trainer, your staff is Charlie Weingroff, one of the biggest guys, one of the best strength and conditioning coaches in the entire industry, heads your staff at your gym. Incredible stuff. One of the top speakers on the Perform Better circuit, which is the elite level of the fitness industry there. You got your own app, the Fitner app. You guys can check that out at donsaladino.com. In case you're wondering, check out that app where you put up workouts daily, pretty much.
Absolutely. Yeah, pretty much. I put 3 new workouts up a week.
Awesome.
So, fantastic stuff. Really, super excited about that.
Cool, man. So that's just a couple of things that Don, you have going on. Don, why don't you tell us a little bit, about yourself and mainly what makes you so passionate about fitness itself? Like, why you want to work so hard for, man?
Yeah, man. You know what? It's just a love for it. I mean, I think you can relate to it. I mean, to be in our industry, you don't get in to be a trainer to be a multimillionaire. I mean, I know it's something that you always hope it evolves into something bigger than training, bigger than where you started. But, I got into this industry just for the same reason that everyone else did. It was to pretty much change lives. And I was able to work on something that I was truly passionate about. And it didn't really feel like work. It just felt like, I was learning and applying things and getting people better and getting myself better. And then it just evolved into such a bigger animal. And it's been so fun to actually see the process and make mistakes and learn from those mistakes and just kind of see where it's taken me.
Sure, man. So to be clear, you're not a millionaire, just to be clear, because I was under the impression, I'm like, this guy's definitely a millionaire.
Well, you know what? We're definitely getting there, but
other way. If not, just very close.
We are getting there. We are getting close. But again, it's like, you don't think of them. It's like training. I mean, obviously look at your physique for God's sakes. I mean, you don't sit there and say to yourself, well, you put a goal in mind, but when you have that goal in mind, you just basically wake up every day and you do what you have to do to achieve that goal. And I think what happens is the people who get obsessed in a bad way with losing weight or looking good for that dress, and they just are focusing so much on a number, they never, it's really hard for them to get to where they want to get to. With me, with my body and within business, it's like, all right, well, I know what I have to do every day to get to that end result. And I just focus on my day, and I don't sit there and I don't obsess over, well, what happens if this doesn't happen or that doesn't happen. I just do my best every day, day in and day out. And so far the result's been all right.
In other words, you don't get too caught up in perceived, a bad word, but perceived failure, right? You don't get caught up in the minutia. You just kind of keep plugging forward. But let's talk a little bit about that, because if people get hung up on things, become obsessed, it can stop their progress. I mean, what do you think that's all about?
I think people are afraid of failing, and part of the process, I don't even really look at it as failing. I just look at it as part of the process. I mean, every day something goes wrong. I mean, it's just, I could be in there thinking that my business is going incredible, and then the air conditioning can just explode, or a trainer just gets sick, or a relative unfortunately passes away on them, and then you're down a guy. I mean, there's always a curveball being thrown at you, so you can't fold every time something goes wrong. You just got to turn around and say, this is a quality obstacle here, and this is what's going to teach me to kind of become better as a human being and better as a business person. It's like, like every once in a while you might fail on a set, or you might get crushed during a workout. And it's like, you don't let it defeat you. You just turn around and you figure out, well, what did I do wrong, or what happened? Or, oh, wow, you know what? I was supposed to PR today. I was trying to PR. I wasn't even close. Well, maybe it was because I got into a fight with my girlfriend, or didn't sleep last night, or didn't eat the way I should have eaten yesterday. And you just got to really forces you in business to be analytical and step back at the same way that, a power lifter or a bodybuilder might do it as well,
Sure. Can't get too caught up in the I don't know, the little things that happen, right? You just have to understand the process and kind of keep moving, keep pushing forward. So let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, you're a married guy, two
Mhm.
kids, multiple businesses going on. Obviously, you keep yourself in great shape. What like, and we probably run into this a lot. You probably run into it a lot, right? Where you're filtering through people's belief systems, through maybe excuses, right? Belief systems, excuses, or whatever you think. For again a married guy, two children, right?
Yeah.
Again, has all these things going on, still manages to keep yourself fit. Probably doesn't hurt that the gym is right outside your office. Probably doesn't hurt. I know it doesn't hurt me. That's for sure. But what would be your advice to people who kind of again run into those roadblocks or maybe have those preconceived notions about these things stopping them from being able to accomplish stuff?
It's you really got to get a little selfish, as me being, I mean, I'm a great father, I'm a great husband, but I got to be honest, man. I got to get my workout in. I got to take care of myself. There's,
Sure.
my wife knows, and I explained to her early on that they're just, if it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I want to pick up and I feel like I need that, that's something that I need for myself to be able to operate my business, to be able to function in life, to be able to be a better father and a better husband. So if I don't have those things, I'm not going to be able to accomplish the things that I need to accomplish. So I think it's really about being with a good partner. Like my wife is completely understanding of that. She knows that's part of my makeup. And if I don't have that, or, I hear from trainers, well, how do you work out every day? I've got clients and I can't fit it in. I mean, I get selfish. Like, I got to be honest. Like, I mean, I'm not training as much as I used to. I might train 2 to 3 sessions a day now, maybe a little bit more on the days I get busier than I want to be, because I can't operate my business if I'm doing 8 to 10 sessions a day. But in the past, I've been known not to take on clients for a specific hour, because if it was that client or if it was me, oh my God, like I would never miss a workout. And people, well, that's bad, you're turning away business. I'm like, no, I don't look at it that way. If my body wasn't in the shape or the condition it was in, then people wouldn't have been coming to me, and they wouldn't have been, if I'm slipping away, then how am I going to be able to, I am my business card. How am I going to be able to, give the advice needed for them to get in better shape? So I think in life in general, you need to be great at something. You need to get a little self-centered and a little selfish, and it sounds terrible, but you really gotta, you gotta pay attention to yourself a little bit.
So it's always a big thing for me, or trying to point that out is like I've always looked at. I grew up. My father, he was sick. He had multiple sclerosis, so I grew up kind of watching when things go bad, right? So when I look at health and fitness, my thing to people is always like, hey, this is your springboard to be able to be successful and all this other stuff. And it sounds like that's exactly kind of what you're touching on, is that a lot of people don't realize. It's like you think and like you said, you would forfeit maybe an opportunity to even train a client to get your training session in. But a lot of people don't understand the multiplying factor of being able to take care of your body, being able to take care of your health, and how it plays into the rest of your life, right?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, you can be a great trainer without being in phenomenal shape, but I know, like using Charlie, for instance. I mean, Charlie's gotten it. Charlie was a power lifter who now is starting to look almost like a bodybuilder a little bit. And he's still, his training has trained drastically. It does not mean he's not training like a bodybuilder, please. He's not going to do that. But, I think one thing that really enabled Charlie to be so successful, one, I consider him probably one of the more brilliant guys in the industry, but
100%.
I was able to get under a bar with 800 pounds on his back. He was able to, bench a certain weight, squat, deadlift a certain weight. And I think that goes a long way.
That's why he's not 6'2" anymore, right? Those couple of 800-pound squats that he did. I heard he used to be 6'2".
I think he was taller than that. But, I think it's one of those things where, that was definitely part of it all. I mean, because I wouldn't even call Charlie a physical therapist. I don't know what to call Charlie. He's like a superhero almost. He's a combination of exactly. So I think Charlie's still trying to figure out what to call himself. But I know that him having that West Side background and that powerlifting background, combined with the ability to be able to heal, I thought that was a deadly combination for him. And I know, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman and Ryan Gosling and all these people would never have worked with me if I did not practice what I preached. And if they always looked at me like, oh my God, like, you are one of the most dedicated people that I've ever met. And that goes a long way. So I know for strength and conditioning coaches, I mean, or for personal trainers, they're always like, well, how'd you get your clients? So the first thing I did was I really, focused on myself and making sure I was in a specific condition. And then, all I did from that point on was I added value. I just added value to their life. And it wasn't about how much money I was making. It wasn't about, it wasn't about the recognition or the social media. It was just about me delivering to them a specific product.
Let's maybe touch on some of the celebrity training in general, and maybe more towards the end of for like the rest of us regular people out here. What would you say is like the key? Because now you're around these people all the time, right? You're soaking up their mindset. You're seeing how they operate, their drive, all that good stuff, right? What do you think are the key differences, or what do you think someone can take from these people? Just us regular guys out here, right? We're just trying to get in shape, just trying to get some strategies to get in shape, get some mindset, whatever it might be. What are the key things that they do that maybe other people need to know?
You know what? I was talking about this the other day. The one thing I completely missed the eight ball on when I remember the first guy I worked with was Hugh Jackman. I got him ready for Wolverine in a movie called Australia. And Hugh kind of set the bar because he came in and I was floored on how, because you're thinking at the time a celebrity, you're like, okay, this is an artist. Like, are they athletic? Are they driven?
Are they going to be a pain in the ass? Are they going to listen to what I'm saying? It's going to be a pain in the ass.
Exactly. So you've got all these misconceptions in your head. And what I was shocked about was not only him, but Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal, all these guys. When you work with them, like there's a switch that goes off. I just got Dave Harbour ready for Hellboy. There's a switch that fires off. And just like they are so serious about their craft, about their skill, about acting, when it's time for them to get into the gym, there's a switch that goes off where I'm almost more impressed in them than a professional athlete. Because a professional athlete at the end of the day, has to have a certain amount of body armor, but it's all about performance. Mm-hmm. This guy or woman has a balance because a lot of them are doing their own stunts now. So they have to be able to perform and they have to be able to move. Like Ryan in Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, I can't tell you how many times he got beaten up because he's jumping through windows and doing his own stunts, and he's coming back beaten up. So the fact that they have to look a certain way with their shirt off, but also perform a certain way, takes an incredible amount of, it's an incredible mindset, but it's also really paying attention to rest and recovery. I mean, these men or women won't have an alcoholic beverage. They will eat as if, it is it's unbelievable. Like they're not cheating. Like
for a time being, right? Did they go back after? Okay, just checking.
Yeah, after that,
I've actually practiced this myself, so I know how it is. Yes.
But I think that's kind of what I was most impressed about. I was just impressed about how they really took this a lot more seriously, and they were really humble. And when they're first coming into you, as being a coach, I mean, they're all in a vulnerable position. They're in your house now, and I think I was more impressed about how they were like, all right, well, we trust you, and let us know what we have to do, and we'll do it. So they've been all of them have been incredible.
And these guys are like shredded, shredded to the gills. It's actually unbelievable.
Ryan Reynolds has.
As is Don Saladino, by the way, folks, completely shredded.
I love it. I mean, Ryan Reynolds has got one of the better. I mean, all these guys just look fantastic. I mean, they really do. I was so proud about what Dave Harbour did for Hellboy, because when he started, he was having some back issues, and I remember day one, it was like double 24s off the ground deadlift, and then 8 weeks later, he pulled almost 400 pounds with a straight bar. So stuff like that. It was more about his transformation, his role. He didn't want to look shredded. He needed to look like a shot putter, but it was more important that he kind of had that, that mindset of like, all right, I'm going to kick the living, out of you. Like he had to build that type of physique. So all the roles are fun, and they're all so different from movie role to movie role.
Sure. Impressive stuff. So what are the celebrities doing? So do they got like special training tricks, special nutrition tricks that the rest of us don't know about?
Oh man, you know the answer to that, bro. I mean, it's just it's hard work. It's just assessing what they're given on that day one. It's like, what am I being dealt, and then just having an understanding what the plan is. And like everything else, it's just good quality nutrition and paying a lot of attention to recovery. I honestly think the training is the easy part. I think the nutrition is the easy part. I mean, that's the training's the 1 hour a day. And then, how do you balance that out with a family life, and how do you balance that out with work? And I think what people think is that a lot of the celebs just have these, that chefs at their disposal, and that they just have it so easy. And I remember Blake Lively, when I was training her for The Shallows, was getting up at, 3, 4 in the morning to go shoot another movie, and was literally doing exercises on set. And it was like, oh my God, this girl's leaving for work at 3, 4 in the morning, not getting back till 8, 9 at night. Like, that's a little crazy when you have a child. So, I think like anything else, like any human being, I never like hearing that I'm too busy, because I think the people that I'm working with are really too busy, and they still find time to get it in.
Forget about it. 3, 4 in the morning, and shit, my whole day is done the next day. I don't do anything. I just sleep. That's it.
I love it. Tell me about it.
So the same old, like, boring, hard work and consistent effort, proper nutrition.
It's a boring answer, I know, man.
Nobody wants to hear that, Don. Like, come on. What do you mean? There's nothing new. There's not like a new gadget or like new training modality. Like,
you know what is fun about it is, I mean, I've been working with Charlie, bringing Charlie Weingroff's name up for the, I've been working with him for the last 5, 6 weeks. So being able to sit in a room with him 2, 3 days a week and discuss, and I just know from my own training standpoint how much he's enabled me to evolve, and then even him personally, how much he's evolved even with his own training. So I think when you got a team like I have, you're able to really, there's no ego. You're not holding your client in the corner like at most facilities. And I think what you're doing is you're really kind of communicating with your team and always trying to figure out the best approach to that person. And yeah, I'm telling you, like, I'm not training these guys with bodybuilding splits. Like, things are definitely a little bit different. I mean, we are using the kettlebell a lot more than you'd see most people, but we're still using our big lifts. We're still using, barbells, and we're still using dumbbells. And, I think the training has become fun. Where in the past, I think there's been this monotony for these guys to come in and they almost know what they're getting. I think at times, we're throwing them a little bit of a curveball, and they're really enjoying what they're doing, day in and day out. One day you might be coming in and they're just completely spent because they flew in from the Oscars and they were on a plane all night, and it's, a red eye coming back into town, and the next, they're in training. We're not doing max effort work. You got to know how to pivot, and you got to know how to say, all right, listen, let's focus on what's going to enable them to be successful. And that's been really the key, is no matter what, it's been my saying, I don't care how beat up they are, like, always allow the client to leave on that day feeling better than they did when they came in. And if you take that approach, it's going to go a long way. I mean, those days of, the 2 to 3 hour workouts have really been thrown out the window. And I've even seen it. It's like, from a longevity standpoint, it just doesn't work as well anymore with how busy people are. And I think it's just managing out stress. It really is. It's less about the program and more about managing stresses in their life.
Sure. And like, the big reason, all jokes aside, the big reason I asked that is because we know, like, the general public, they're always looking for the new thing. And we're probably still pretty much doing the same stuff. I would say, like, the same stuff Arnold was doing, just maybe just a little bit more, with more movement in mind, right? Like, we're still lifting weights, we're still mixing in some cardio.
Right.
There's more movement, more thought process on movement. But a lot of people, again, they're looking for the new thing, what's been hot lately, the, TRX reformers.
Yeah. I know that my workouts have really, I think, become more simple. And today, for instance, I went in, I very rarely bench on Mondays. I'm normally doing my lower body on Mondays, but this new program that I started today was
a bench on Mondays. You gotta wait till at least
holiday,
Friday.
baby. Holiday.
Yeah, we're good at it.
I know, but I mean, Monday today for me was max effort bench and just doing a ton of one-arm swings on the minute. And I know that my program it looks much less than I'm always suspect about the program that looks like a Chinese menu. And rather than, being 15, 20 movements on it, I'm more of a believer in less is more, and really going into quality and focusing on those movements with a lot of carryover. And I've noticed that my body's gotten a lot harder, and I've been feeling a lot better. And, so that, for me, that's exciting, that it's always evolving. It's always improving. And, being around guys like Charlie or my team at Drive has always added a lot of value to what I've been doing. So that's been fun.
Sure. And I think that's a big thing, and something, I try to talk about a lot with people, is this recovery aspect, right? It's this walking into the gym, or to be honest, like, if you're doing well, then you feel great every single day. But the likelihood of that happening and you not having any stress in the rest of your life and kind of bringing that into the gym, along with the stress and the strain that you might put on in the gym itself, we understand recovery, right? But what recovery? What do you mean? Like, I'm supposed to like go in the gym and go hard every single day? Like, people don't necessarily understand that you really just want to take what your body gives you, right? And like you said, like, you almost want to leave the gym feeling better, right? You always got a little bit left in the tank to be able to come back the next day and do it consistently, right?
Listen, it's happened to all of us. We overreach, and you know what I'm talking about. If you take a week off, or you just are coming into this new phase of training where you have a new program, and out of nowhere you start hitting it, and you feel amazing, and you're like, oh my god, my body feels great, and you're going, and then you're going to the workouts, and you're like, all right, I'm going to run today, or I'm going to do some extra energy systems work, and you're pushing. The next thing you know, you're doing 400s on the track, and then 3 weeks later, you're like, oh my god, I feel like crap. Like, what's going on? Like, I'm exhausted, and that's normal. That's completely natural. You need that in your life a little bit. You need to kind of, as Charlie says, get yourself in the red zone here and there for you to actually improve. But you also got to know how to get yourself out of it. And I think a big problem is I was having a conversation this morning with a gentleman from men's, I think it was Men's Fitness, and
one of those magazines.
One of those magazines. It was men. I was thinking Men's Fitness, Muscle Fitness, because it's actually
calling me those magazines.
Yeah. But we were talking about, I was having a conversation with a physique competitor the other day, and I said, how's it going? He said, it's going great. And the first thing out of his mouth, I've had no injuries. And I'm like, I looked at him, I go, how is that the first thing that you're saying to me? Like you're dictating your success on the fact that you have no injuries. And I just feel like everyone's training, a lot of people's training gets one-dimensional all the time. And they focus on one thing, and they pound it and pound it and pound it. Next thing you know, it's 7-8 months later, and they're like, all right, my shoulder's aching and my hips are bothering me. And I'm like, yeah. And on the other hand, people go in the other direction of confusion method. And I don't even know what that means. It's like, I'm just switching stuff up all the time. And I'm like, all right, fine, but you're never really getting better at anything. Like, you've got to show a period of time to improve on that. Like, if you mix a movement up every day, every week, yeah, you'll have good fitness, but you may never actually improve in anything. So, there is a fine line. There really is.
Yeah, and I talk about that all the time. I'm like, I'm just kind of boring. Try to get my clients to understand that they prefer to do different stuff all the time, right? But that's the deal. Like, you kind of want to spend a little time doing things consistently, and even with nutrition, right? Like, if you're like new to nutrition, it helps to have kind of like a basic plan that you just kind of do similar stuff often to get in a rhythm and keep going. But a lot of people, maybe they just don't understand. They get bored, right? That's really what it is. They get bored, and they don't necessarily have like the knowledge, I guess, that we have, right? Like, we just know we got the stuff. We got it figured out, right? So it's what's boring to us is like, okay, that's the key, to unlock what you got to do.
It's got to be fun. I'll never forget this. I trained Calvin Klein for a few years, and I'll never forget this is a long time ago, and I'll never forget our first session. He comes in, and I put him through an FMS, and I'm ready to go and like all set. And he looks at me and he goes, listen, he grabs me and he's like, I've got a specific goal in mind, and I told you what it is. But if you're one of these coaches and you come highly, everyone's talking about you, everyone loves you, which is why I'm here. But if you're one of these coaches that want to spend 50 minutes doing mobility with me, I'm going to walk out. Right. And listen, these guys aren't paying you a little bit of money. They're paying you a lot of money. And could he have? So I looked at him, I said, CK, listen, man, this is the deal I'm going to have with you. I know what you want to work on. We gotta learn how we both work together. This is what I'm going to do. 10 minutes a session. You can get in earlier. We could spend the first 10 minutes. Well, yeah, we're going to focus on cleaning up your screen, and we're going to focus on getting your body to move. And then I'll turn around and we'll hit what we need to hit. And there were areas, there were things that he loved hitting. So in the beginning, yeah, we're doing shoulder supersets, we're doing drop sets, we're doing these things that I still love to and enjoy to do. And there's nothing wrong with these things. But you get coaches in the strength and conditioning world who want to bash the bodybuilders, and you have bodybuilders that want to bash the strength and conditioning world. And what they all need to realize is that there is a way with your client that they can kind of all live together. Not all of us are training professional athletes, and for the majority of that it's probably really just a small percentage of us, except if you're like Mike Boyle, who works with all collegiate. These people going to him are working primarily for sport. But, they need to intertwine a little bit. And CK taught me a big lesson, because it was like, all right, man, this guy wants a feeling. He needs to leave with a sensation. So you better make sure that you're doing a little bit of what they want while you're also getting a little bit of what you want, because you want them to improve as well. But if you walked into my session with CK, 45 minutes into it, you'd be like, why the hell is this guy doing triceps on a shoulder split? Like, he's got no external rotation. So I'm trying to get him into a landmine. I'm trying to do things where I'm not getting him overhead to just kind of minimize a lot of the damage. But, any good coach is going to tell you, if there's someone's coming to you, like, you gotta kind of find a way to give them a little bit of what they want while you're still getting in what you want.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. You definitely have to marry the two things of, like, what's going to be the best plan of action to achieve the goal, and then part of achieving that goal is making sure they stay in the gym, right? So if you completely lose them on boredom, you're gonna now they're not working out, so that defeats the purpose as well. By the way, did you get like lifetime underwear after that if you were done training?
No, damn it,
was he ripped like Reynolds too? If he was, you should have got a lifetime supply.
He's 7. I think he's in his early 70s now. I mean, he's in good shape, man. You guys see the guy with his shirt off. He's lean. He's got a low amount of body fat. I mean, yeah, but no free underwear. I don't even think he has the involvement in the company anymore either. I think he's just collecting checks for the rest of his life, and which is fine also. I ain't mad at him for it.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even know it was a real dude. I just thought it was a brand. I was like, you brought it up. I'm like, shoot, I didn't even know there was a Calvin Klein. How about that? I just thought I'm probably rocking it. Oh no, I'm sorry, Hanes today. But normally on the weekends, Calvin Klein. But that's funny. That's funny. All right, so let's see. What do we got here? So we got some other stuff. We taught some people about recovery. So just to kind of go over again, like people going in the gym, they may not know these terms that we're using, but energy. Like, what are the main things people got to focus on? Resistance training, energy systems work with these terms, metabolic training.
Yeah, I mean, like metabolic training, energy systems, almost, they kind of intertwine. It's funny. I was talking to the guy from Omega Wave. I think a lot of us create these terminologies, and this guy Val, who created Omega Wave, was like, I don't understand this metabolic, and he knew what it was, but he just was like, where do people come up with these names from? There's just so many different names. We all want to sound scientific, but
sure.
With my thing, I focus on the basic components. Muscular strength, muscular endurance, cardiorespiratory endurance, body composition, and I really put the fifth as mobility, because I would, mobility, having the control, flexibility and mobility, having the control to move through those ranges of motion. So those are really the 5 components that I'm focusing on. I mean, a lot of people, I think, really don't give body composition the amount of credit it needs, but when I have an athlete or I have a celebrity who's getting ready for a movie role, they need body armor. And that's really a big part of it. They're coming to you for that vanity pill, and less concerned about the movement aspect of it. So it's my thought process to be able to move that into the equation and just make sure that at some point they're like, holy shit, I was never able to get in that position, or I was never able to do that. And you're kind of like nudging them, like, see that? Like, sure. Training is fun. Like, you're still getting what you need to get done.
Wait a minute. If I fucking move better and smoother, the job of getting in shape is going to be a lot easier. Holy shit.
If I fucking move better and feel better, it might actually look better.
If I'm not such a stiff bastard, this stuff gets a whole lot easier. Wow, it works better. Jesus Christ.
We figured it out, bro. We figured it out.
The car moves faster. It's amazing. It's unbelievable.
Really
all right, so let me ask you this. So you're a guy who you take care of yourself pretty well. I was watching a video of you, and I think you were talking about, man, you really don't like cheat at all, but maybe it was just for that video.
No, I definitely cheat. I cheated last night, man. I went to town last night on Chinese food and vanilla ice cream with like cookies crushed on it, which is like one of my favorite things. Yeah, no. I definitely, but my thing is that when I'm done cheating, I'm done cheating. Like, it's time to get back on it. Like, today I've been regimented and my mind feels good, but I never want to give that impression that like I'm perfect. That's especially with the eating, because I make more mistakes than probably anyone that you're ever going to meet. So I think the reality is that but when it's time and vacation's over or that meal is over, like, I'm back on it. And that's kind of what I do better than anyone. I could just kind of hit that switch, and there's never like I haven't trained in a month, or I've been off my eating for a month. That's like impossible. I mean, the most it might ever go is if I go on vacation for a week and decide to have some drinks and just not even pay attention to a carb or a protein, not care, just eat what I want to eat. That's of it. I did that over my 40th birthday this year in April, and I looked absolutely like junk when I got back, and it's like within a week you're like, okay, I'm back, I'm fine, and that's kind of how I like to live. I still like to enjoy things, and I want to be regimented, but not to the point where if I'm at a party, I'm sitting there not drinking, unless I have something to get ready for where my shirt's got to be off, different story. But otherwise, I've kind of figured out how to, be in the shape I'm in all year long and still let my hair down here and there.
Sure. So like a couple things about that, and then we're gonna wrap up in a couple minutes here. But so like one, or the first side of this is like, maybe people are under the impression that you're like supposed to be perfect all the time, and in the event that they're not, they screw that up, right? So maybe you could touch on that, and then the other thing, I forget the other thing. We'll go on that, and then I'll come back.
Yeah. I think you nailed on a great point. I think the reason why people are unsuccessful, I mean, especially getting in these New Year's resolutions, is because they're not allowing. Like, it's not a cheat. Like, it's not really a cheat. It's called part of your lifestyle. It's called part of your plan. That's why I push the 80-20 rule down people's throats so much, because I'm like, listen, 80% of your week be great, and 20%, like if we pick our nights when we're going to go out and eat or drink or for whatever reason because you're entertaining, but don't look at it as a screw up. That's part of your program. And I think when people start realizing, oh no, I was allowed to do that. That wasn't a screw up. But Friday morning I'm going to wake up and get back onto my plan after being out Thursday night. I think the mindset changes a lot, and then that feeling of defeat. I think what ends up happening, actually I know what ends up happening is they just get under this perception that, oh, it's Jan 1 and I'm going to be perfect for the next month, I'm not going to screw up, and they screw up and they're like, fuck it, I just blew it. And I'm like, no, it's not like that. The human body doesn't work like that. Like, it's probably a great thing that you went and did it, gave your mind a break and gave your body a break, and now it's time to get back on it. So I think if people got under that impression and they actually realized that the guys on magazine covers only look like that for a couple of weeks a year, and that the guys on magazine covers are still out pounding pizza and still eating ice cream, but what they do better, like what I explain better than anyone, or like how to do, is when it's time to dial it in, they dial it in, and they never let themselves get so far out of whack to where they're like, oh my God, I just gained 20 pounds and put on 5% body fat. That's what we do great at, and that's what most people got to learn. And I think when they relax a little bit, I think things are going to get a lot more successful for them.
Sure, and I think that's a big thing people don't understand as well. Is it's kind of like this. It's kind of like sprint, even in the macro cycle. So what's macro to like over the course of a year? It's like most people aren't gonna be in tip top shape all year round, and you're not gonna be like sprinting that hard all year round. You're gonna sprint for a little bit, get in the best shape you can, and then kind of cruise for a little bit, and then sprint for a little while, and then cruise for a little bit. So it's kind of like work real hard, recover a little bit, work real hard, recover a little bit, and hopefully you never get too far away, right?
Yeah, I mean the ones that don't know how to back off, and I've always been victim of that, but the ones who definitely don't know how to back off are the ones getting sick all the time, and they're ones that their bodies are run down and their training sessions are like crap. I mean, I know the most important thing to me is I really want to go into my training sessions feeling great. Because if I can go, because working out for me is enjoyable. Like, I'm the rarity. Just like I know you enjoy working out. But when I go into a workout session, there's nothing better than walking into a session and being like, oh my God, like I want to absolutely murder it today. Like this is it becomes fun. But there's nothing worse than walking into a session and just dragging ass. So I feel like if we can improve people's energy through recovery and through just the right amount of exercise, and you get them wanting to come in more and more, then we've achieved our goal. I think then they're going to turn around in a month or so and go, holy shit, look what just happened. I just lost 10 pounds. I didn't even know it. It didn't even feel like it was that hard. I didn't have to give that much up. I still had a glass of wine every night. So I really blame a lot of the fitness professionals out there because they're given this perception that like, oh, you've got to, count. And yeah, I've counted calories and carbs, and I still do at times when I have to get ready for a shoot. But the reality is the average Joe just doesn't need it.
Sure. And if they come in and they're shot on a day, you come in, you're shot, or your clients come in, you're shot, what do you do?
Downshift.
I
downshift.
Yeah.
I downshift. I try and walk them off the ledge because a lot of times I'll look at them. How much sleep did you get last night? 3 hours. How was your flight in? Terrible. It was delayed 3 hours. How's your wife doing? She's screaming at me last night. Did you sleep well? No. Come on, let's go. And I'm like, listen. I understand what you want. Easy. Let's just do me a favor. Trust me right now. Follow me. Let's leave you here today feeling better. And then they say, all right. And I get them through it. And out of nowhere, halfway through the session, they're like, Yeah, my body's starting to feel good. It's starting to come around. I said, good. It's fine. You'll be stronger tomorrow. Let's get you through it. That was it. That was it. I'll see you tomorrow. Get a good night's sleep tonight. Go eat some meals. Rehydrate, and we'll get you back on it.
Take what you can get, people. Whatever you got on a given day, that's what you get. You feel awesome. You rock out awesome. You feel like crap. It's better off just gearing back a little bit and coming back to fight another day. That's what it's all about.
I love it.
Yo, quick funny story for you. I was at your place one time with my staff, and Charlie was doing an in-service with us, and you were training Scarlett Johansson, right?
Yeah.
So you were like on the other side of the gym, and we didn't even know. And my trainer, this young kid, he had went to the bathroom at that time, and you guys ended up walking by us, and we're like, just look real quick. We're like, is that freaking Scarlett Johansson? But my young trainer is like this young playboy kid. He's in the bathroom, right? So you walk over with her, and you leave. He comes back out. We're like, did you see Scarlett Johansson? He's like, stop playing. I was like, no, Scarlett Johansson was just here. He's like, stop. He thought we were messing with him. We're like, no, she just literally just walked by. He was pissed. He was tight, man. Yeah, awesome. He was real, man.
I love it. Well, that's a funny story. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a sweetie, man. If I had time, I would have given you a funny story about her, but I know you got to jump.
Sure. Could be worse. Donny, listen, man, appreciate your time today. Folks, follow Don at donsaladino.com. Any other place that you got going on?
Yeah, it's a Drive 495. We've got one club in Soho. We exited and flipped the last location, Drive 443. We're really proud to have built it up to a successful business in 2 years. A little bit too small for what we're trying to do with our business right now, but 495 is doing great. We've been there 12 years already, and we just launched our digital platform at Fitner. Check that out. That's been fantastic. And Don Saladino on Instagram. Awesome stuff. A lot of fun. Thanks for having me on, man. It was a pleasure.
Donny, appreciate it, man.
You're the best.
Enjoy, pal.